All right, there you go. We are live.
There you go.
Welcome back
Welcome.
to another Ramblings in the Basement. We are joined by a guest, my sister.
Hello, I am Mello.
She goes by many different names. This shit is not charging.
Happy Sunday, everyone.
As long as it doesn't die on us halfway, I guess.
Oh, it's still not charging.
Yeah.
With the iPad or?
The iPad's not. I mean, worst case scenario, I just lose control of shit. Like, I can't control that anymore. But I guess it's fine. I mean, I still can. I just have to do it to the computer now, if I do. Which will be a little annoying, but it is what it is. It's kind of on me for not charging the iPad. But it was a little hot in here. But I still gotta wear the sweater.
Yeah, it's definitely the lighting and stuff.
But yeah, so this week we're supposed to talk about angels and demons. But Ivancito bailed on me. I had to do a family event. It is what it is. But I had to come up with a topic last minute. And well, I invited her on last minute too. But I was not expecting her to be on it, to be honest. So I tried to come up with a topic that I can kind of carry the show by myself. So I figured, because I don't know, I mean, I doubt you watched it because I uploaded it, like 2 days ago. But the other episode that we recorded like 2 weeks ago, we got a question in because we were answering questions.
Like a Q&A?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And one of the questions was asking about like, what is something that we have always wanted to do, but we haven't done yet. And so I got into a whole spew about the projects that I'm working on. And that's kind of where this idea came from. I was like, I kind of gave him like a glimpse of like
Because I know
the
that's
ideas.
okay. I was going to say, because I know that could be a spiel.
Yeah, I didn't get into it too much because we had other questions to get to. And I still did get into it a bit because I talked about 3 different projects.
I think that's a good topic to make a whole episode on its own, because especially like as your sibling, I know like we definitely have creative minds, so we want to start projects here, there, and everywhere.
That's why I was like, she would be a perfect fit because I know you have your own projects that they're just ideas too, just like me. Like we low-key just have these ideas and we kind of slack off on them, to be honest. Just keeping it as real, 100. But they're ideas, and they're like solid
Ideas.
Solidly thought out ideas. And they have like this whole foundation and everything. We push them off for one reason or another. But I was like, fuck it, let's at least share what they are so people have an idea of it. And that way there's, I guess, some kind of like building up some hype for people like to expect, what to expect to come up. Because I feel like I can't speak for them, but I feel like people are getting tired of my shit. Like I've been making music for so long and I just don't drop anything, to the point where I feel like people just stop caring. And that's why I was like, I need to get my shit together and actually start finishing some projects.
I know exactly what you mean. Like to start off, let's cut ourselves some slack. Like, yeah, of course, like let's, there should be action to the like behind the words and stuff, but having that like talent of creating, like you said, thought out ideas, that's what like creates very well engineers, right, of the world. Like it's a talent in itself. However,
part of me
following up with
this is part of me, this is why I wanted to start up the record label and like why I would want to manage artists more,
right?
It's because I feel like as much as I enjoy, like I fucking love the process of making music, and I've always told everyone I don't do it to be famous. I don't want to be famous. I've never, you've known me, I'm not social. I don't like being the center of attention. I genuinely just like the process of making music.
Yeah, so don't cut yourself short.
That
Ideas
being said,
is part of it.
That being said, I feel like as much as I don't want to like toot my own horn or anything, but as much as I'm good at producing music, I feel like I'm so much better at coming up with ideas and like concepts for like albums and shit. That's why I was like, I want to start up a record label and help other talented artists come up with these concept albums, these ideas, because ultimately, and I talked about this on that one podcast where I was talking about projects. Personally, at least, I don't feel comfortable releasing singles, and that's why I've never dropped shit. Like, to me, if I'm doing a project, it always has to be like big ass production. I got into it as I have right now. I have one concept album that I'm working on, and 2 concept EPs that I'm working on. I've been working more and more on the album more than anything. The EPs, they're kind of just half started, not really finished, like at all. To be honest, I haven't even finished the instrumentals for one of them. But to me, it's about bringing a project together and just like making it like a really thought out project. I'll give you examples, I guess, because it's like I'm just talking about like projects.
No, but I'm hearing you.
But I guess the big one that I'm working on, that I've been working on a lot recently, I had just finished writing lyrics for 2 of the songs. When I record them and mix them and all that, who knows? But I am working on it. I'm putting work into it. And maybe it's just because I'm too harsh on myself. I'm like very meticulous about like how each line is written. And now, I mean, I could share them with you afterwards, but I don't want to share them publicly yet.
Yeah.
But I was telling Yvonne, and I actually did tell him I was going to share them with him too, at least for one of the. She snored kind of loud. I don't think you can hear it though.
Okay, good.
But I did tell him or I guess let me tell you what they are, because I feel like you're just kind of in the dark right now. Like I'm not telling you shit right now. So the first one, the album, it's 9 tracks long. It's called Daydreamer. And then the 2 other EPs, one of them is called Note, and the other one is called Mind at War. And they all started from a concept, obviously. They all kind of started with 1 track. Well, actually, no, that's not true. Note didn't start with 1 track. Note started as the concept first, and then, but the other 2 was like had a track that I made, and then I was like, okay, let me take it this way, this direction. But of the 3 of them, the first one and the one that has the least amount of work done on it, it's the one that was started just as the concept. So I didn't have like any lyrics to it. I didn't have any idea. And I started this a long ass time ago. And it's a little weird talking about it because it was hella dramatic. Like it was me being melodramatic as fuck. It was at the time when I was feeling suicidal, and I didn't want to just kill myself and just like leave questions. So I was like, let me make a suicide note, but in the most fucking extra way possible. I was like, let's make this whole album, and it's gonna be my suicide note.
Not even a song, a whole album.
And well, I guess EP, because there's only 4 songs, and it's called Note.
Oh, okay. I see the vision now.
And each letter represents one of the tracks. That's why it's 4 tracks. It's N-O-T-E. And I actually had told Marcus about it at the time. And basically, the first track is called No Escaping. Second track is called Our Demise. Third track is called Time Kills. Fourth track is called Everything. And so like the whole idea was supposed to be like no escaping our demise, time kills everything. It was supposed to be like it like spells out the whole message. And each track is supposed to be like focused on what the name of the track is. Like for example, No Escaping. I started writing to the lyrics to that about like how I felt trapped, and I was just like, okay, there's no escaping like the life I'm in. Our Demise, I have lyrics written for most of them, but there's 2 that I don't even have instrumentals for yet. And to me, that's harder, writing instrumentals to lyrics.
That you, so you usually like to do instrumentals first and then write lyrics.
Yeah, and then write to
Interesting. I usually do the other way around.
Yeah, to me that's hard. So that's why I've been pushing it off because I know exactly how I want it to sound, but I can't make the instrumentals work with the lyrics. But anyways, so No Escaping is about feeling trapped. Our Demise was kind of about like the collapse of society and like how we're kind of chasing our own demise. Time Kills is, I mean, pretty self-explanatory about how like time will kind of kill you. You kind of just like take advantage of the time that you have, I guess. And then Everything was about like being grateful for everything. And I don't know, like to me it feels hella extra. The fact that I was
It's
supposed to
very
be,
well thought out.
like, I was
For
like,
sure.
I was like, I thought too much about this shit for it to be a suicide note.
You're like, no, this is art. Hold up.
But yeah, low key, that's
Yeah.
the thing that like made me. I was like, bro, I can't just drop this shit and then disappear. I was like, I'm gonna have fans after this shit. I can't just drop this shit and disappear on people. But I was telling Yvonne that EP has, and I know nobody can. You kind of just have to take my word for it because I've never released anything, but I've written for a lot of things. So
Yes.
y'all gonna have to just take my word for it until it drops. But that EP for me was some of the best lyricism that I've ever done, and that's why I really want to like drop it because there's some lines in there that just flow so hard and they just like there's meaning behind them too.
There's power.
And like I said, I don't feel comfortable sharing that. I don't know, maybe I'm just like too paranoid, but I've always been paranoid about like telling people what like bars that I have online until it drops, just because I've been paranoid like someone's gonna take that shit and use it for themselves and like.
Oh no, for sure.
So
I
that's
know
what's
exactly
like.
what you mean.
That's why I've never been like I'm not gonna say any bars or anything like that until the shit drops, and then y'all can hear it. And even then, people still steal it for themselves. But at that point, I can say, look, I did it first.
Right.
Whereas opposed to like if they just heard the idea, it's like, yeah, maybe it was your idea, but you never actually put it to action. You never actually did it. So that's the main reason why I don't like releasing
Sharing
or like
before you
sharing
release.
sharing lyrics.
Yeah.
But I do share instrumentals because if they steal that, I can prove that at least. 'Cause I can definitely prove I made the instrumentals because I could pull up the whole project file and everything. But yeah, I'll share those with you afterwards.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of artists do that as well. Like when they're like showing little snippets, they'll show snippets of like the
I'll show snippets
instrumentals
if I
or,
have
like-
something recorded.
yeah.
But it's just like I have to have it like recorded and
Yeah.
just like semi done, so I can like kind of just so people can see like okay like
This is
he did this
this-
shit
yeah.
like he actually did this shit. He's not just stealing it.
yeah. They never really release lyrics though.
Yeah, I mean Russ does, but
Oh.
he doesn't have to worry about that shit.
True.
Well, even then he does it once it's kind of recorded still. But I'm getting a little off track. That was the first of these three that I started working on, and it's the least. It has the least progress on
Done.
it.
Yeah. To it.
because I've been so meticulous and I just it's like my baby. Like I just want that shit to be perfect.
Yeah, but that's usually the ones that take the longer. It's because of that. It's like, so
And-
take your
yeah.
time with it. Don't
You know what's
don't
crazy is,
like
like,
rush it at all.
Everyone wants to follow in Russ's footsteps and seeing like quality or quantity over quality. And obviously that works. Like people have had success with that. But to me, like I said, it's not about the fame for me. So I don't mind putting in the time. Like at the end of the day, I would rather it be like a classic that people will listen to like 20, 30 years from now still, as opposed to being like, okay, he had a bunch of songs, some of them got big, and so that's how he got famous. Like I don't want
That
to be
makes
famous,
sense to
but
me.
to me it's like I would rather
Not
have
even famous, just known. Because famous, if you were doing it to be famous, then you would have done the other way around, right?
Yeah, like-
that's what makes you famous. Being
and I
known.
know this sounds controversial, I guess, but like I want loyal fans. Like I don't want to be famous, but I want people to like appreciate the art.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's better for them to actually be able to like appreciate it by you putting time into it. And it's like, okay,
For sure.
there's like layers to it. Because one thing I picked up from Eminem, even though I don't really listen to him that much anymore, was is that he has those lyrics where it's like you can listen to it multiple times, and like the 40th time, like after many years of listening to it, you hear one lyric and oh shit, there was like double meaning behind there.
Yeah.
And you're like, I
Yep.
love that. I love being able to
That-
dissect music, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't even realize like he had this other meaning behind that. And so that's always been like a goal for me. Is like I want to have that kind of music where people can listen to multiple times, like replayability, I guess. And there's different ways to achieve that. Some people just have like catchy music,
Yeah.
and it's like there's no hidden meaning, but it's just so catchy that you can replay it over and over.
A lot of artists like do little Easter eggs or like little like things
Yeah.
that you have to look for like in the album art or like in the names of the songs. Or like I know
Yeah.
like Taylor Swift, Swifties, they play into the number 13 a lot. Like her birthday's December
Mm-hmm.
13th. So, and it goes very meticulous, like into like, I don't know, the 13th show or the 13th date of this tour. And like,
Yeah.
it's always like something very like, I've always obviously not a Swiftie, so I'm not sure how deep that goes. But
Yeah, I was
even
gonna
like,
say hers feels a little culty.
I'm not a Swiftie, so I'm never sure. But so let me put another example. Like Ariana Grande recently, like all her albums, she always puts like little things here and there. Like Mac Miller's favorite movie is like Eternal Sunshine, so her new album's named Eternal Sunshine, and like just little things that if you know, like you know.
Like I don't know if you ever listened to fuck, what's the band name? Fuck, I don't even have my phone. It's recording.
What do you want to search up?
The album is called Black Parade.
Is it on?
Oh, My Chemical Romance.
Oh yeah. What about them?
They have an album called Black Parade. I never even listened to them, but I saw a YouTuber. He did a video explaining that there's actually a hidden story in that album, and I fucking fell in love with that.
That's-
I've never listened to that artist to that band, but I loved the album just because of that story that's like
Yeah.
embedded into it, and
Yeah.
it's not blatant. Like you have to actually like listen to it
Do
and like
it,
pay
yeah.
attention to everything that's going on. And I guess spoiler alert it's an old album. If you haven't
Yeah.
heard about it, that's on you now.
No, like homework. That's your homework.
But the story behind it is basically about a little kid who is diagnosed with cancer, and his girlfriend breaks up with him, and she like leaves him, and so he kind of has to go through it alone. And it gets pretty sad, to be honest. Like there's this one song where he's like having flashbacks to like when he was a soldier, and he like talks about how he or actually I don't think it was him. I think it's Death having this flashback. I don't know. It's been a while since I watched that video.
Yeah.
But I mean,
That's your homework.
the YouTuber is Windagoon. Look up that video, watch it
There you
if this
go.
interested you. But yeah, that song specifically, it's called Mama, and he talks about he's like crying to his mom like while he's on the battlefield, and he's like talking about how like he regrets like he's done some things that would make her disappointed in him because he's at war. Like he's kind of like against his own will, but like I don't know, they get sad.
Morals.
It's like,
morally
damn,
and
like
stuff.
I've done some bad things. But
And on a more playful note, I also like how Melanie Martinez, her first
she
album,
had a
second
concept album like
yeah.
that too,
And,
where it's like
her
there's a
album
story with it.
concepts as well are really interesting, so unique to me. Like I remember finding her and falling in love with her as an artist.
I love
like,
that idea.
just rabbit hole like into all of like the stories behind each like YouTube it all like oh my gosh it's
And
the
leading
best.
into that, I guess that kind of leads into my next. This is the newest one that I started working on. It's the actual 9-track album. It also has a story. And this one started with one track. It started with a track that I just did. I kind of just came up with the idea for this track before I even had the idea for the album. While I was at work. I was at work outside. I was working at Chick-fil-A, and they have someone take payment outside. The position, they call the position cash box.
Cashbox.
And that's literally what the name of the track was at first. And it was just me being bored at work. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna record a bunch of different sounds here while I'm at work. And then I'm gonna go home and use all the sounds that are recorded and try to make a song just with the sounds that I recorded. And I ended up low-key surprising myself. Like that song was, it was like a legit song. Like I wasn't expecting it to actually come out good. But, or I guess not but like the album, the song, it had kind of like this energy where it kind of felt like, because I wanted to keep the original sample sounds on there so people can hear like the original sounds that I recorded, and then it drifts into like the actual track that I made out of them. It kind of sounds and it kind of gives like this vibe of like someone drifting off into like a daydream. It's like you hear the sounds and it's like you feel like atmospheric, right? Like you feel like you're there, and then it drifts into the song. And I can play it. Yeah, I can actually play it. Fuck it.
Play it.
Switch over to screen.
I
ended up
even like appreciate a lot of artists doing stories like history-wise, like on more like Rosalia. Like Brittany Broski did a whole video on it, and I loved her take on it. It's like a lot of like Spain's history in there, and then Hozier I think does a lot of like history in there as well. Let's hear it.
That's like the raw sound that I recorded. This to me felt like you're dreaming now, like you're in a daydream. Sit here and listen to the whole track. I just want to show the intro just so you guys can get the idea of where the album idea came from, because I heard that and I was like, this sounds like you're drifting into a daydream. So I was like, all right, let's make a whole album about this, where essentially, I guess me being the main character, the protagonist drifts off into a daydream, and I started putting together, I think, 2 other tracks that I had made. 3 other tracks that I had made before this, and then what's that? So like 4 of the tracks that I already made with this one included, and I made like 5 more to complete the album. But I was like, at first this was just going to be a lo-fi album. I was just going to put lo-fi tracks together, but I realized out of the 4 that I already had made, they kind of had a similar theme. Like it wasn't your typical lo-fi.
Like they went together.
Yeah. Because I don't know, I feel like whenever I try to make lo-fi, it's not like the typical lo-fi you hear on like YouTube and like the lo-fi girl, and whereas like more hip-hop type of lo-fi. This is still kind of hip-hop-ish, but I always feel like there's like guitars in there, and it's just like something different. I don't know, they just gave me a different vibe. So it was like a different type of lo-fi. And I realized they all had a similar theme, which was kind of like spacey. It kind of just felt like lo-fi, but like futuristic in a way. Mm-hmm. So I was like, and especially since one of the other tracks that I had was just straight up called Space Vibe. And shall I play that one too?
Yeah, play that one.
I literally feels like, I mean, I lean into it as fuck, but this one also feels like you're kind of like kind of dreaming. I love this melody, by the way. To me, it's just it's such an alluring melody that I came up with unintentionally. I was just satisfied when I started playing random keys.
It gives me like Steven.
Right?
Yeah.
And so this is the second song on the album called Space Vibe. And so I had this idea to put one of my little albums together and make one song called me, I guess, being the main character, going to a daydream, going on like a space adventure, and then just waking back up. the first verse for this, but after that I don't have, because it doesn't have a normal structure, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, it wouldn't repeat.
There's no hook. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no hook for this. So it's a weird. That's why I've been struggling to write the lyrics for this specific track. But yeah, as I had this idea, it's kind of turned into. I mean, I know exactly what the story is, and I guess I can share it here. I didn't share it last time on the last episode, but I can kind of relatively share the story. Obviously, the first song is him drifting off into a daydream. This is Space Vibe. This one I actually started writing lyrics to before the album was even a concept, before I even thought of this album. When I was working on the songs as a single first. And I don't know, I started writing it kind of like as a love song, because to me, when I first heard it, it kind of gave me like Kuko vibes. And I was like, he usually does like love songs, so I was like, let me just try
He's
to
a
like,
lover boy for sure.
I was like, let me just, because I didn't know what, like, this was like one of the first songs I ever wrote lyrics for, so I was like, let me kind of just copy a little. I'll admit, I was like, let me just kind of lean into his style a little bit, because I don't know what to do with it. But I mean, it ends up taking its own style. I didn't copy him like verbatim. But yeah, so with this kind of being a love song, and then the first one being like him drifting off into a daydream, I was like, let's kind of just keep
Follow
that energy.
flow.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, so I keep saying he, but it's essentially supposed to be me. So I guess it just feels weird talking about it like with me. So I guess like I drift off into a daydream and I'm going off in space, and then I meet, because it's in space, I was like, I meet an alien.
That makes sense.
Like, it seems weird like falling in love with an alien, but I just like sticking to the theme.
Yeah, story-wise, it makes sense.
Yeah, so I was like,
I mean, if you need it to make sense, Melodies doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but so I was like, all right, so I drift off into a daydream, find an alien, fall in love. The next song is called Adrift. This is one of the songs that I had to make for the album. And that song is supposed to be like me being adrift, kind of like not really knowing how to go about it. I was like falling in love with this alien, but not really knowing how to like go about that. I was like, what do I do with her? Like, how do I make her like me back? So that's like supposed to be like me attempting to win her over, I guess. Then the next song is called Crash Landing. That's obviously us failing. So like it didn't work out. But also it's like, I guess there's like two stories within it, because it's like us physically crashing the ship, but then there's also like the love side of it. So it's kind of like symbolic. It's kind of supposed to be like symbolic.
Yeah.
And then the next one is called Amongst the Stars, and that one I have lyrics completely done for that one.
But no track.
And I have the track.
Okay,
all the instrumentals are done.
Oh, okay.
I haven't recorded the lyrics for any of them, but I do have the lyrics completely done for that one. And that one's basically, I guess, just reflecting on where it went wrong, and just like reflecting on like the fact that it went wrong. And then the next one is called Distant, and that's kind of just me feeling distant. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. And then this one was kind of a last minute, because it's been a while now, but like when I was like putting the album together, there's this track, I'm sure you've heard of it. It's very popular on TikTok. They use it like almost all the time, called Past Lives, where it's like, this is supposed to be like that really sad song. I'm sure
I've heard it.
Yeah. This song.
Yeah.
It's like hella overplayed, but I love the fact that, like, I know it's overplayed, so maybe it's lost its effect, but I loved the fact that song has so much emotion in it. Like, you just hear it and you're just like, oh damn, that's sad. And like I said, it's overplayed now, so like they use it on shit that's not even sad anymore sometimes. Like sometimes they'll put it on like they put it on like a motivational video sometimes. I'm like, bro, that's not sad.
It's like, hey. They'll even put it on prank videos now.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, wait, what?
Bro, what the fuck? But I
You
love
laugh or
I
cry.
love
I'm confused.
I love the emotion in it, and also the idea behind it, because it's kind of I mean, I don't know if you actually like understand what the lyrics are. I didn't understand them. I had to look them up, to be honest. But I mean, it's called Past Lives, and it's talking about like how I guess they've been trying to like the singer and I guess whoever they're in love with. It's talking about like how they've tried throughout past lives and it just hasn't worked out. So I kind of liked that whole idea. So I was like, let me work that into the album. So I was like, so basically, and I have that's one of
that
the other
works
ones.
because like time and space.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah.
It fit in perfectly. And that's another one of the ones that I have lyrics completely done for. I wrote 2 verses for it on top of, just using that for the hook. So I didn't have to write the hook for that. That one might get copyrighted, low key, because I don't really have permission for that. So if it ends up getting cut, it ends up getting cut. But I mean, it's written, and it's one of the deeper songs. So I hope it doesn't like people don't say shit. So I mean, it's gonna happen eventually. But yeah, one of the verses in that shit goes deep too. But then the next track after that is called Stoic Dreamer or Stoic Dreams. Still really haven't decided. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter what I end up going with for the name. But that one, I don't know if you've heard of Stoicism, but it's kind of like this idea of, well, there's a lot to Stoicism, but I'm mostly focused on the idea that is letting go of things that you can't control and trying to just control what you can't control. And so that's kind of like what I ended up going with that. So it wraps up too. Like it's not just like a sad love story, like it didn't work out. It's kind of just like, okay, so now it's like stoic dreams and realizing like, okay, maybe it didn't work out, but it's whatever. You kind of just let go of that, move on with your life, better yourself and whatever.
A good ending to it.
Yeah, well, that's not the last one.
Oh.
But yeah, it starts it starts wrapping up with that.
Wraps up that chapter.
And then the last one is called Into the Void. And this one might also get copyrighted because I'll play it. You can play it. This one is not going to have any lyrics.
Where am I?
It has a bunch of time.
Welcome to Rest My Room. I swear.
This is one of the other ones that was already. This is the one that we actually.
Well, don't know how long.
No, that's it. That's literally it, just the intro. So I might be able to get away with it
Yeah, I
because I
think
know
you can get
some
away with
artists
that.
have done
Yeah.
shit like that. But this is the one that we actually listened to when we dropped Tabs. I don't know if you remember.
Don't.
That was a long time ago. That's what I'm saying. Like this song has been made for a while, and I remember I actually mixed it on Tabs,
There you go.
and it somehow came out good.
And you're like, and somehow I did it.
I remember the keyboard keys were moving and shit,
You're like,
but it worked out. That was like the most visuals I've ever seen from hallucinogenics. It was just kind of the keys shifting a bit. I've never seen anything too strong though. But yeah, this one is just
Never
hella
seen-
Relaxing.
anything like that.
It's literally just instrumentals, and it's just hella relaxing. I remember I cried when I listened back to it
You're like, this is beautiful.
on it. Yeah, and Brandon would play that shit back to back. I remember
Aw.
from the Green, he would play that shit back to back, and I could see every time on SoundCloud because it tells you like who plays what song.
Oh, that's
So I could
dope.
so I could literally see like he would play that a lot.
You'd like actually play it all the time.
And I don't know, maybe it helped him get through some shit. I hope
it did.
I hope that's the idea behind it.
Yeah.
It definitely helped me to get through some shit just because it's so relaxing. And this is another one of those tracks. It was this one and Space Vibe where I just kind of played without knowing. Like I kind of just started playing random keys and it just worked out. I wasn't going anywhere with it. I wasn't like there was no direction to it. And you can really tell on this song because it there's no melody. There's no. I mean, there is obviously a melody, but it's no like looped melody.
There's no
Kinda
like
just-
repetition.
Yeah. So this one was completely unplanned.
There's no like formula.
Entirely unplanned. I was just feeling sad as fuck that day, and I was like, I'm gonna just play random keys on the keyboard,
Let's see what happens.
and this came out. And then I later on, after I had recorded that, I threw on the voices from Adventure Time and all that, and I edited the bird sounds. You can kind of hear in the background a little bit, and the reverb and all that.
That makes it really relaxing.
It does. I love that. I still listen to it sometimes whenever I'm like having a bad day. It changes your mood entirely.
Just close your eyes.
And that's why I felt fitting to put that at the end, to be honest. So it's like right at the end, I was like, okay, he has his stoic dream where he's like, okay, letting go of everything. And then this one actually like makes you let go of everything. So you hear that and you're like, oh, okay. And so in this song, in this track of the album, the story would be him finally waking back up with this newfound knowledge of like, okay, maybe shit doesn't work out, but you can kind of move on. So there's kind of like a message to it too, unintentionally, to be honest. It kind of just all fell together.
naturally,
Yeah, it kind
yeah.
of just all fell together. But yeah, this is one of the projects that I've been working my ass off on it because I love it. Like just the whole idea behind it.
No, I understand the concept now. Like that makes a lot of sense because it's not just like, oh, let's take you through this like cute little story. It's like, no, you're going through a journey.
Yeah, like it's actually
a
like an emotional.
spiritual
It's an
journey.
emotional journey. It's a spiritual journey. Like you learn. Hopefully, like people will actually like learn something from it and like pick up. There's like a lot. There's like layers to it, and that's why it's been taking me so long. And I've told my coworkers about it, and they keep bugging me like, oh, when you gonna drop it? When you gonna drop it? It's like, bro, like it's probably not gonna come out for another year. Just know.
Yeah.
I'm putting a lot of time and effort into this
Art
shit.
takes time.
I'm being very meticulous about it. I'm a perfectionist about certain shit. And I mentioned this on the other episode too. And I don't know if maybe this is how you feel too, but low-key I get the feeling that it is. I personally don't like working on singles. I mean, I said this already.
Yeah.
I feel like I want to make everything have meaning behind it. Like to me, it's never just been about like dropping a song that can be like a party song or
It
some shit
seems
like
like
that.
almost disposable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, especially with albums too. Like I don't want to make an album where it can just feel like a collection of different singles. Like I know, and Loki Russ did do that with There's Really a Wolf. That
Yeah.
Loki was a collection of singles. But
It
like,
was because at first, like I thought, like there was gonna be a concept because, like, oh, there's really a wolf, and even like a lot of the
I think there were some original, like, well, they're all original, but like there's some newer songs
yeah,
that he did add to that. But like a lot of those were songs that were already released.
yeah,
But even like not even him, like even artists that release songs, like the first thing that comes to mind for me is like Eminem's Recovery. There's nothing really holding that together. They're kind of just separate singles that he put together into an album.
yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But to me, I just can't get like I don't know, maybe I just set too high of a standard for myself. Where it's like I don't want to just release shit like that. Like if I'm gonna put songs together, I want there to be a reason for them to be released
Yeah.
together.
I know exactly what you mean. Like I feel like, especially if you're gonna put an album together, like there should be a concept behind it. Now, of course, it could be a form of how they express themselves. So like an EP or like a single or something, that is just like, oh, I went through this. Let me just like, I get
Yeah,
that.
it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be that deep too. Like this is obviously a very deep concept, and like there's a lot to it. But like I guess going to a third one, where it's not as much of a concept as the other two. It's called Mind at War. That one was it's kind of so the track, it didn't start as a concept EP. It started as one individual instrumental, to be honest. I didn't even intend to write anything to it, but I did end up writing to it. But I guess the whole concept of the EP is Mind at War, so it's like about mental health. And that's, I feel like, one of those less I don't want to say not thought out, but like less thought out. Like there's not as many layers to it. Like it's pretty straightforward what the
Yeah.
concept is. You don't have to like dig for it. And I guess you don't really have to dig for it for the other ones too. But there's just more to it. And it like I said, it wasn't intended to be like I never intended to make an EP about mental health. But it all started with me just wanting to create a very atmospheric instrumental, because I've always loved that. Like whenever I'm making an instrumental, like I want to create an atmosphere behind it. It just feels to me like more immersive and like more like it just pulls you in more, like an instrumental that has like you can like feel like you're in it, I guess,
Yeah.
for lack of better words. And I was like, what's the most immersive that you can get? Like something that's like has like a lot going on. War. So I was like, let me make an instrumental with like the background noises of war. So there's like a lot going on. You can hear like bombs going off in the background. You hear like airplanes flying overhead. You hear like marching, gunshots, screaming. There's just a lot going on in that track.
It's like
Yeah, I mean, I'll play it.
slashing. No.
No.
Oh. It's like
Yeah, I'll play it. Just so y'all can get an idea. Like there's right off the bat you hear bombs going off. And I didn't make the movie. This is I can't remember. I just did the pretty repetitive. That's why I'm sticking to it. It's most of it's supposed to be lyrics. That's why I don't want to like. Cause it, practice like instrumentals you want repetitive, so you don't take away from the lyrics. Right here. I try to make it sound like you're getting hit by like a bomb, and I like recreated like the effects. Like whenever you're playing Call of Duty, like and you get hit by a bomb, like you hear like everything fade out, and you kind of like your hearing goes out, and you kind of hear ringing. So I kind of like try to create that, and then you can kind of hear like the whispers. So the name of this track is called Anxiety Attack, and that's kind of why I put the in the whispers. So it's kind of like your thoughts, like okay. So like you get hit with that, you're like okay, and like, now you're hearing your thoughts again. And I have lyrics completely written for all of this too. And I love the third verse, because I actually did end up writing melody for this one. So it's different.
I guess now just make more videos so we can pull them up.
Yeah, but I think he kind of just forgot about that. But yeah, it started with that track, and then I was like, let me make a follow-up track. It's called Aftermath, where it's kind of just the same idea of like still at war, but it's just a different track. And it's kind of like you hear the sirens going off. Like this after, like I guess it's called Aftermath.
Oh, there you
It's
go.
the
The
aftermath.
aftermath.
It's the aftermath of like bombs going off, and
sirens.
like now they're like I guess looking for survivors or whatever.
Right.
And this one has like matches the intensity. That's what I love about this. And this is why I never got around to recording lyrics, is because I could never get the lyrics to match the intensity of everything else.
Sometimes the lyrics don't have to match the intensity or everything else. Sometimes Like, I mean, of course, like you wanted to though, but sometimes like
I'll
if
leave
you
match
let
it.
the track speak for itself.
Yeah. I mean, like the lyrics match. That's the thing. Like the lyrics match the intensity, so it just feels off. Like the voice, like the vocals themselves not matching, and that's just on me because I don't know how to mix it in a way that like sounds like strong. But then, and it was just gonna be those two at first, but I had this verse that I had written for the longest time. Like, this is honestly the first verse I've ever written. And I wrote this shit upstairs. Like before we had ever
Damn.
moved up downstairs. This was literally the first verse I've ever written. And I never had any instrumentals for it until I made this for this one. And it kind of doesn't really fit, but I'm gonna still put it in there just because it
fits enough.
it loosely fits enough. But I really loved this one. Because I was looking for old war movies that I can sample. I literally went into was it like the
That are,
Wayback
royalty
Machine?
free.
yeah, exactly. So I can find ones that are public domain.
Yeah,
So I was like, because I was like, I'm not trying to get fucked over.
literally.
Attention all hands. This is the
This shit
captain
was hard.
speaking. The war is over. We were not in at the finish, but we got in our 6 bits while we were out there. We all did a part of the job. To each and every one of you, a sincere well done. To our dead shipmates, to all those who died, who are even more a part of this victory than any of us, our eternal thanks.
I just like that it gives that vibe, like exactly what he's saying. Like you just
Yeah.
feel like the victory, like the victory is kind of like, okay, it gives the exact vibe where it's like you won, but you lost something.
Right.
Like kind of like how he's saying,
what lost.
like he's like thank you for the victory, but like even more thank you to the guys that died fighting for it.
yeah.
And I don't know, I just got that vibe, and I like when things kind of just connect and they all share the same vibe. And I mean, so you guys can kind of see, like to the point where like I try to make even the cover arts try to match the vibe of like whatever the instrumental is. Oh,
Was that a nightmare, Mama? It's okay. It's okay.
she woke up having a nightmare.
Okay. You okay?
But yeah, that's always been my biggest goal. Is I want everything to match the vibe. Like I said, even the cover art, it has to match the vibe of the instrumental, and then the lyrics have to match the vibe of the instrumental, the hook and everything. This is why I never release shit, guys. I'm so fucking perfectionist on everything. But I know you are too, and I know you
Yeah.
have albums. I don't know if you want to
Concepts.
share. I don't know if you want to share.
Like you reminded me of one that I hadn't even touched on in like years as well, but it was like supposed to show emotions through like different colors, but like in a way of like I don't know if you've seen those aura pictures where they're like different colors of different auras. It would start with like red, obviously, but it would start with red, would go down the rainbow, would go like orange, yellow, green, blue, whatever, and then I feel like it's kind of been done though since I've thought about it. It's not like down the rainbow exactly, but there's people who've come out with album like colors and stuff. But I wanted to match that vibe, so like red with the art concepts and such would be more like fiery, passionate, you know, and then going down that
Yeah.
line. Orange would be more creative, groovy. Yellow would be, you know, down.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a really cool, interesting concept, and I've definitely have songs here and there that I've
Have you like
written.
written any lyrics for that one, or
I have.
written like
Yeah,
music to it?
I definitely have for sure. And the thing is, it's not one album concept that I've actually completed. It's like I have a couple songs that I know fit in different colors, but not like, I don't think I have like a lot of red ones, a lot of orange ones, like that, unfortunately.
So it's like each color is its own album?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought it was one album with like all the colors.
No, each color is its own album.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, that's what I
that
meant,
actually kind
right?
of reminds me, this kind of off topic. I mean, not off topic, but I'm kind of just,
And it wasn't even supposed to be like obvious that like, oh, this album's gonna be called Red, and this album's gonna be, it's gonna be like supposed
just
to be like
the
concept.
cover art is
Yeah.
red, but like,
And even the concept of the songs make you feel red, because I forgot
Okay.
what the name is, and I didn't realize it was a thing until later, like maybe around 2019, 2018, that this was a thing. But being able to see colors and things, like when I see numbers, I see them in different colors. When I think of different months, I think of different colors. So I associate colors with my feelings and with
they
my
have
emotions.
like certain emotion, like certain,
Yeah.
not emotion, certain like feelings that you get, like,
Yeah. So like, for instance, like I don't know if you see the number 5, what color do you associate 5 with?
I want to say like blue or green.
5 is red. How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. But no, like things like that. Like growing up, I would see things in color in my head, and I didn't know that not everyone thought that way.
Yeah, definitely not for me with the numbers, but like other things, I get like different
Yeah.
colors.
So that's kind of where that started from. Because whenever I would like sing or hear different songs, I would think of different colors.
Interesting.
And so that's where that album concept started from. Like I was like, oh well, I'm gonna make a red album. I'm gonna make an orange album. It's gonna be yellow.
Interesting.
Yep.
That's actually more interesting than I thought, because I thought it was
Yeah.
just going to be one album, whereas like each song was like representative of a color.
Oh no.
Which
Like,
you could
this
do that
album
too,
is
but-
gonna make you feel red. This album is gonna make you feel orange.
I like that actually. I really like that. But just because you said like, I don't know why this made me think of it, but when you said like album's gonna be called Red, like you said it wasn't gonna be, but you made me like remember I've had this idea, because my artist name is Theory. I've had this idea of making albums with the name of like actual theories, like for example like string theory, or like conspiracy theory. So I want to make like an album
Yeah.
called like Conspiracy, and then it's like by theory. So you just
That I like that.
But I
the
had the
play on-
realization. I had the realization that's gonna make them hard as fuck to find. People are just gonna look up conspiracy theory, and they're just gonna find a bunch of conspiracy theories or string
Or
theory. And
it could be the other way around, and now you come up more because people
Maybe-
are searching these things up.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like it depends how big I am. Because if
Yeah.
I'm too small, it wouldn't even come up. So I
Yeah.
feel like I have to wait till I have like some bit of a
Yeah.
following.
Because like I know a lot of people were saying that like for Disney they came out with Frozen, so then like now when you search up like Disney
misdirect people.
Frozen, it like
It
misdirects
could
people.
work that way actually.
And people were saying that even like Tana Mojo made her podcast be named Cancelled, because when they search up like so and so canceled, her show comes up, not actually people getting canceled.
Interesting.
It's
It could
smart.
work, but the thing for me with that is like, I don't know how like what the fuck I would put into those albums. Like I just like the
Fair.
idea
Yeah.
of like, okay,
Sometimes
conspiracy.
ideas are just ideas.
It is like conspiracy theory, but like what the fuck kind of songs would I put into an album called Conspiracy? I mean, I could. I have some. Actually, I think you heard one of them called American Gods. That's the one.
Based on the show?
Kind
Okay.
of. That one I guess I could put into conspiracy
Yeah.
theory album.
That definitely would fit there.
Yeah, and I could if I really put my effort into that. But I already have these projects that I need
Yeah.
to finish. But even if I did, like I said, I would have to make those albums after I have somewhat of a following, anyways, because I feel like it wouldn't show up at all if there's nothing behind it. But yeah, what other album
really cool.
ideas or what other song ideas? I mean, I've heard some of the songs that you've had.
Yeah. You haven't
Yeah.
you? Which ones have you heard again?
Well, we actually worked on one together that we never finished.
Oh, that's true. Doobie,
Doobie,
for sure.
which I still have on my computer. I low-key wanted to finish it, but
True. I need to
I
listen
felt like
to that
I
again.
felt like we need to re-record it.
Yeah.
Low-key.
I need to
but yeah.
re-listen to that for sure. Because I think I remember somewhat what it goes like,
Yeah.
but I just don't remember what lyrics.
I think we had
what
just
hell I'm
the hook,
singing.
to be honest, and then you were writing the verses.
Okay.
But yeah, What other concepts I know? Because I know that's not your only concept.
Yeah, that's not my only concept. That's one of my first ones though, because like I remember music giving me that feeling of colors. So I was like, why hasn't people played into that? Me thinking that was like something everyone felt. But other concept ideas have been like, I kind of played onto what like Melanie Martinez has done. She created a character, and then you go based off that character, because it's for me, it's almost easier to write about someone else than it is about me, if that makes sense.
That's
Even though sometimes
low-key.
it is about me,
Yeah.
like it's like no, but I'm making up a character, so that way like it has parts of me in it, but I can also like my creative thinking, like my theater kid in me is like
Yeah.
I also want to add some fiction to it, and like
It definitely makes it easier to write. That's low-key
Yeah.
why I keep like in the daydreamer, and I kept referring to me
Him.
as him.
yeah.
'Cause that's low-key how I was looking at it too.
Yeah, for sure. I get that 100%. Because I know some artists, it's like literally about them, and it's so literal that it's like kind of like their diary.
Mm.
And I don't think I could write like that.
I mean, I've definitely written.
I
Like,
have some songs that are in the vault, but I don't think I could like put concepts together like that, I guess.
I mean, like that one. There's definitely like a lot of very personal shit, but I like that it's kind of just up in the air. So it's like, I don't know, like is it me
Alluding
or is
it?
it?
I
Or
don't
am I
know.
just? It's just part of the story.
Yeah.
It makes it easier for me to like open up like that, because that way people, I guess, I mean, not that they would, but it's kind of just like an anxiety of mine. Like people would like kind of use it against you, be like, so you felt this way, and it's like whatever,
Yeah.
Kind of just it feels weird opening up, so it's like kind of just leave it up in the air. It's like what parts are fiction, what parts are real? Who knows?
Who knows? Like that's another thing, like when they get interviewed about their songs, I'm like, well, it's not necessarily like, it's up for interpretation. That's
Yeah.
what's the beautiful thing about art, right?
So there's definitely a lot of parts in that album that are very personal to me, but I'm not gonna share which
But you don't
parts
know
they
which
are.
ones.
Yep. Could be all of it.
I don't
So
know.
could be none of it. Yeah, I went to space, guys.
And
You know what's funny? When I realized, low key, I was like, it's me writing a story about me daydreaming, and it's supposed to be like it's supposed to be fictional, but at the end of the day, because I came up with this concept at work, it low key is real because it's still me technically daydreaming of me going to space in a way.
True.
I
You
was
were
like-
daydreaming,
I
huh?
was like, there's low key some literalness to it. Like it's low key literal in a way.
I'm trying to see if I have any other concepts in my notes. I keep everything in my notes. But
But yeah, that's a big reason why I wanted to be a label, like to have the label. Is like I wanted to help
Yeah.
other artists come up with concept albums with things that that I guess would work more towards them, because it's like I'm limited to like what I can write about, just because I don't have much to write about.
I feel like that's why in the beginning, like you were saying, like, oh, like I always start things but I don't finish it. That may just be like, it's because you're like meant to be more of like a engineer type of person, where like you said, you're meant to guide others and help others in that. Because I feel like I'm the same way. Like I'm very good at coming up with very well thought out plans, and like I have everything that it takes to execute it, but I feel like I'm ready to hand it off to someone else. I'm like, okay, now here you go, like that.
Yeah.
So I think, because in a way I'm pursuing the similar thing. Like I'm with two
I
other
heard her for it.
you're stinky, with two entrepreneurs / girlfriends I have. I don't want to get too into it, but we're trying to also create a space for creatives to have that place where, like, we're gonna help them out. Create a place where, like, you can build each other and create and, like, because
That was kind of the idea behind Rib, but we could never get it together to actually get some shit done. I mean, I've tried, but it's hard carrying a lot by yourself, though.
Right. And this is going to be to, like, get a lot of, like, small business owners together and stuff, and it's a nice endeavor. We hope to be, like, up, ready, set, and going by, like, August, I hope. Yeah.
Nice.
So keep updated for that. Follow my Instagram if you want to keep updated on that. If you have a small business or something that you would like help promoting, or just like have a community around to like give ideas, bounce ideas and stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been an hour now, so I feel like I'm not gonna do this anymore.
That went
But-
by so fast.
I know, right? But I had this idea also, like, because I have so many instrumentals that I don't plan on doing anything with, just because I've made so many instrumentals, and it's just like some of them I can't write to, as much as I've tried. And I know other people can't either. This is why I feel like I've struggled to find artists, because every time I show artists my instrumentals, they always tell me like they're different. And I was like, I get like it can be good to be unique, but I feel like it kind of ends up working against me, because
Right.
artists say like it's too unique for them to like be able to write to. But I mean, I always try to make them unique because I want them to stand out. But if it makes it harder for people to write to, then it kind of does backfire.
Stick true to like what you feel called to write. Maybe just like you gotta reach out to different creatives. Like I feel like that would be like more like quirky, like eccentric, like kind of people. Like, you know, like it's all about the
Yeah.
genre. Because I feel like in this area too, like we're a little limited because a lot of people do hip hop here. A lot of
Well,
people
actually,
do R&B. Like,
Yeah.
and this genre like hits and gets popular, and it's what like
Yeah, I mean,
gets big. Honestly,
I feel like
maybe
I've
just not in
never
this
been
area.
good at sticking to a genre, but I don't know. Even though like I do different genres, there's something that like keeps like there's some similarity between them.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, what I was gonna say was maybe next time, or another time, maybe not next time, but just another time, I did want to do where, like I said, I have a bunch of instrumentals that I don't personally plan on using myself, and I haven't been able to find other people to use. I did want to just kind of share a couple of them and just put them out there see if anyone could write to it, and be like,
Yeah.
y'all can reach out, and then we can actually start working together. But like I said, we don't really have time for that. We could stretch this out, but it's getting hot, to be honest, and I'm getting
Yeah.
ready to wrap up.
You can like do it another time, or just have like a link for people to check out of little snippets or something.
Yeah.
Whatever you have the time to do.
And I would say, like I said, my tracks do not stick to a genre. There's a lot of different types of instrumentals, so give a lot of them a try. Because my problem has always been like I make a big playlist, and maybe I gotta sort them out more. But I always like send like a really long playlist of all the instrumentals that I have. I'm like, here, try to find something, try to pick something out. And people will listen to like 2 or 3, and they're like, I don't know. Like, bro, I promise you, just keep looking,
Something in
you will
there's for
find
you.
something. I was like, I promise you, there's.
No, you're
so
right
many
though.
different
Having
types.
it organized will help.
Yeah, it's just like make it smaller so as like they can go to the specific genre or like mood or whatever that they're feeling.
Yeah.
But
Even have them send you like again, I guess that only works for me. I was gonna say have them send you like a mood board, like, okay, like I want my song to feel like this, and like have like little like colors, like snippets, like pictures, like, you know how like you put like together like a vision board. Send me a vision board of what the song, and then like you're like, okay, this song makes me feel like this,
yeah,
something like that.
and I feel like whenever people want and give ideas of what they want, it's always artist type beat.
Oh no.
And I've never been good at like
No.
recreating other people's styles, at least not intentionally. Like I said, the other one did give me kind of Google vibes, but that wasn't intentional.
Yeah, no.
It's like I've never been able to just recreate other people's vibes and
I also
other
never
people's styles.
understood that.
And I never liked that either, to be honest,
Yeah.
because like, and I get it works for some people. If your goal is to become famous, it does end up working for people. Because I've seen a lot of people blow up like that, whereas like they start out like that and then they develop their own style. But for me, it's always just been like, why not just start with your own style from the beginning?
Yeah, that's true.
I know people might not dig it at first, but that's how you end up with actual loyal fans. At least in my opinion. What the fuck do I know? I've never made it, but that's just my point of view. But yeah, do you have anything else to share?
Nope. I think that
I'm good
just
to
about
wrap
wraps it up.
I'm sweating. Thank you guys for tuning in. Got 4 views. Nobody's watching right now, but appreciate the 4 viewers that did tune in, even if you didn't stay. I appreciate you at least checking it out. I'm sure more people will watch it once it's actually uploaded. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in.